And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Hello and welcome once again to the Cine-Files, where this week we are concluding our exploration of the Rob Reiner rom-com classic, When Harry Met Sally. My name is Steve Morris. I'm a filmmaker and directing instructor in Los Angeles, California.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Rocha. I'm a writer, producer, host, voiceover artist here in San Diego, California. And you just caught Steve and I right after we're arguing about this stupid Roy Rogers wagon wheel coffee table.
Well, that is in fact the scene we are about to walk into. But right before we do that, we should thank our supporters on patreon.com/the Cine-Files, as well as Apple Podcasts, who are right now listening to this episode ad-free. They also get to listen to our Cine-Files short. We just had one on Starfleet Academy and Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's on Patreon and Apple Podcasts for subscription right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Another way you can support us as well is for those of you who aren't listening on the ad-free versions of the show, you hear the ads. If you like any of the products or services that are being put out there by the people who support us, like True Diagnostic, BetterHelp, we've had other ads before with Factor and Drizzly Uncommon Goods. Like with any time you hear any of those ads and you like the products or services, you want to try them out, make sure you use our code because A, you get a big discount, and B, you signal rather to those clients that they should keep supporting us here on the show. We've got some more people coming soon, some new clients that are coming on very soon to support us. So we hope you'll take advantage of those new ads as well.
There's some pretty exciting stuff. In fact, I just got a package in the mail that relates to one of those things. Very exciting. As John mentioned, we are about to see a beautiful wagon wheel coffee table, and this is what's so great is this is what great screenwriting looks like, which is that we just had this scene in the sharper image where Harry saw Helen and saw Ira for the first time, and we have this moment outside where we absolutely know Harry is in a bad place, and emotionally, I think we're with him as we walk into this new space right into the middle of a conflict.
I like it. It works. It says home to me.
All right. We'll let Harry and Sally be the judge.
So, first of all, I don't actually think this is a cool move to bring other people into your couple conflict. Not
Agreed.
Cool.
I don't condone this at all.
It's nice.
Case closed.
And I think you can palpably see the rage and upset coming off of Billy Crystal right now.
Yeah, he's not even paying attention to the question. He just he's lost in his own world.
Of course he likes it. He's a guy.
Turns to Sally. Meg Ryan's little head shake and no is fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, what this scene is about is where Harry is emotionally and what's going to happen with him. But I feel so bad for Bruno Kirby. Jess loves this wagon wheel and everybody's going to gang up on him.
Well, sometimes you got to let go of those things it's like the beer sign, right? I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of women who are listening to us right now, Steve, who would tell you stories. I mean, the straight women who would tell you stories about all women, right? Because it's irrelevant.
Anybody could tell you that it's time to move on from the beer sign. I think that's
but mostly, because it's usually the guys that have to let go of their man stuff in order to. But of course, there are man caves now. So if you're wealthy enough, you can build out a room. But, most of the times you're specifically told that you've got to move your stuff out of a certain area. So because your taste isn't quite what works for most people. So, I've been there before many times.
It never occurred to me until this moment that when she says, yes, you can, if we had an extra room, you could put the wagon wheels in the bar stools, that would have been a man cave.
100% would have been his man cave.
That is what it is.
Yes.
What's so awful?
This is my office is a man cave.
Yeah.
Purpose.
This is I mean, honestly, I'm no longer in a couple, so the whole house is really a man cave. My son is the only other person who lives here, so it gets pretty. But man, one of the main reasons that I kept the house is because of this office I'm sitting in right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's so awful about it?
It's so awful. There's no way to even begin to explain what's so awful about it.
What's great too is that she is being considerate to him. Like she is making it clear to him what the situation is, but she's not like trying to insult him. She's just saying like, look, this stuff isn't going to work in the main area. I'm trying to soft shoe you into understanding what's happening here. And so it's she's being as considerate as possible. Even though I don't think there's been any scene, Steve, throughout the whole movie where I thought Marie had any sense of fashion or style, so
how dare
it's
you.
ironic. Yeah.
So first of all, I don't think she's being as considerate as possible. You don't say that. Well, if you say it's awful, it's so awful, there's no way to begin to say what's so awful about it. About something that somebody loves, you are not being as considerate as possible.
Well, she's not yelling at him about it, I guess.
No, yes, except what she is being is extremely politely and nicely condescending is what she is being. I have taste and you don't. Now, I probably don't love this wagon wheel either, but everybody likes all sorts of weird shit that I don't like. That's kind
true.
of life. And of course, what's really going on again is Harry's staring out the window. He's not participating. And Jess is defending himself and says, I have good taste. And this line is an exact Nora Ephron line. Everybody thinks they have good taste and a sense of humor, but they couldn't possibly all have good taste. It's true.
I mean, I agree with that.
No, it's when Nora lays down some. This to me is exactly like all women say they've faked it at one time or another. So you be the judge. It's using the exact same logic of percentages and math. Everybody can't have a good sense of humor. That's not possible. And then Harry goes off.
We started out like this, Ellen and I. We had blank walls, we hung things, we picked out tiles together. Then you know what happens? 6 years later, you find yourself singing Surrey with a fringe on top in front of Ira.
I love that line. Again, quote that line all the time. Just all the time. Surrey with a fringe on top in front of Ira. There's this great explosion. Because you know what? We haven't seen Harry break. The whole movie. This is the first time we've seen Harry rattled. We've seen Harry uncomfortable. We've seen Harry awkward. We've seen Harry apologize. We've seen Harry, have sense of humor, laugh, joke, have his points of views. But we've never seen him get rattled. And clearly, Helen rattles him on so many levels because the way he spins around and just starts in on it, right? And Sally tries to stop him and says, do you think our friends need to hear this right now? And he goes, yes, I think our friends need it exactly right now. And she spins around out of frame. Again, she walks off frame, which I think is great. But he is so determined to get this point across to these guys because he is working out his anger at the embarrassment he feels and the shame he feels over how Helen has essentially just castrated him in front of Sally and publicly out in front of a store,
I think, we talked at the beginning about these parallels in their relationships, where they're each with another person, then they're with another person again in a serious way. They both have their breakups around the same time. They both are dealing with it in the way they're dealing with. To me, this is the next parallel, which is that this is Harry's breakdown. And in a few scenes from now, we're going to hear Sally's breakdown when she finds out Joe's getting married. Both of them have to do with the actual unresolved feelings over the relationship that has ended. And they both have to go through those feelings in order to be able to eventually get to where they can have a healthy relationship on the other side.
I think what's one of the most human, yet sadly terrible things in relationships is when you don't get closure. And you desperately need closure. And it can be tough. Yeah. And I don't think everyone's built this way. I think some people are quite fine hopping from one relationship to the next. It's really a marvel. As I got older, I realized that I was never built that way, that I always saw closure. It's not trying to find out who's right or wrong. It's more a matter of
obviously you were right. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, I stupidly did think I was right for a number of those breakups. But it's more a matter of how can we find that middle ground? And the truth is, you have to grow as a person to understand how to get that closure too. Because I think that's also a mistake people make. They go, I want closure. But the closure they want is to satisfy themselves, not actual closure. And once you understand what actual closure really is, that's something you can aspire to achieve. However, it doesn't mean the other person is going to be able to give it to you or be in the space to give it to you or want to give it to you. And I think that's one of the toughest things about relationships is when you want that closure, but that person doesn't want to give it to you. And certainly, I don't think Helen would ever give Harry closure or any closure that Harry would feel satisfied by, honestly.
Honestly, dude, I am not the biggest believer in closure. Not that I think that
I'm literally not surprised by that, but go ahead. Yes.
Well, I just don't, and what I mean is
not in a negative way either. Not in a negative way.
No. What I mean is that there is a fantasy that lives in our heads about what I will need to move on. And that's almost never going to happen. You might be able to have a conversation and it could be better. You know what I mean? But you might not. And what I actually really think is that the only thing you can deal with is yourself. It's those things inside yourself that have not closed that you need to find out how to get to. It's like, yeah, maybe Harry could have a conversation with Helen. I don't think he's going to get that much out of that. I think in a lot of ways it might enrage him more. It's like, to me, it's accepting the fact that there isn't closure is the secret to finding closure. You know?
Yeah, you and I, from two different points of view, is completely on this. Yeah, because I've achieved closure with a number of ex-girlfriends over the last 10 years. No, 20 years. And achieved closure with my dad before he passed on. So
that's great.
I think it's just a different approach, right? And I think there are some people who can achieve it and seek to achieve it, and other people who don't think it's that important, have to work from the inside out for themselves. And I agree with you, because that's a self-sustaining model. If you could achieve closure within yourself, then you won't need to get closure with the other person and move on. And some people are built that way, and I envy those people. I am not one of those people. I definitely need to have that conversation. But again, it has to be the other person wanting to also have that conversation. Because I do think people sometimes try to force closure, and that's never effective, you know?
I agree. And I think that what we see, and this is why this movie just got so much better in this last watching, even though I adored it already, because of watching it as a study of two characters who had to grow. Yes. As much as it's a study of a romantic comedy of two people falling in love, which it is. Agreed. The other interesting thing that happens is that what Sally says next, I think, is exactly what your spouse says. You know, like this is a relationship thing to say. She says, do we have to talk about this right now?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's trying to protect Harry and trying to protect Jess and Marie, who don't know what they're about to be into.
Yes, I think that right now actually is the perfect time to talk about this, because I want our friends to benefit from the wisdom of my experience.
And then what he does is he rains on their parade.
Yeah, completely.
Right now, everything is great. Everyone is happy. Everyone is in love. And that's wonderful. But you got to know that sooner or later, you're going to be screaming at each other about who's going to get this dish. This $8 dish will cost you $1,000 in phone calls to the legal firm of That's Mine, This Is Yours.
This is a great moment of of Harry just going on. And by the way, this is the dark side of Harry. Just so we're clear, like, we've enjoyed, and it's been fun to watch Harry talk about reading the last page of the novel, or how men and women can't be friends, or have these kind of funny, darker approaches to the world. But this is where the darkness can go into a bad place. That he is telling them that you need to plan ahead for your divorce. He's trying to be so practical that he's removing love out of it completely, and being like, you need to be aware of this, this, and this. And that is removing the joy and spontaneity and organic nature of love and replacing it with this more pragmatic, practical approach, which is Harry's bitterness and anger and frustration over what happened with him and Helen, which, as you said earlier, Steve, he is clearly still not over, even with all this, all the time he has spent with Sally, because he just ran into her and embarrassed himself in his mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what is he doing? What did he just do? Like, you said that he wants to look at the last page of the novel. Well, what did he just do? You're happy right now,
right?
But at some point, you're going to be getting divorced.
The novel ends.
Yes. Yeah. Because, and what does this say? This says that Harry at this moment does not believe love is possible. No. Because he knows the only place it can end is in sadness.
Because someday, believe it or not, you'll go 15 rounds over who's going to get this coffee table. This stupid wagon wheel Roy Rogers garage sale coffee table.
I thought you liked it.
I was being nice.
Another line I quote. Another line I quote all the time. I was being nice. But it's so perfect, Jeff. It's so perfect, Steve. It's just such a perfect moment. But again, you're so right to point that out. He's looking at the last page of the novel. Yes.
Well, and he's wrong, because not all novels end unhappy. Some people actually have relationships that last.
Yes.
And I love, too, as we sit there just in the wake of his anger, that Sally just very calmly says,
he just bumped into Helen.
It's great. Yeah. Really great. And then after Sally is gone, Marie turns to Jess and says,
I want you to know that I will never want that wagon wheel coffee table.
A great button.
It's great. And this is the you know what this is? I never thought about it quite in this way. But you know, part of why we love Rob Reiner is because Rob Reiner came up in television sitcoms.
Yeah.
This is a television sitcom. There's the button on the scene.
Oh, great point. And I think Rob Reiner is Harry in this scene.
Oh, 100%.
Rob Reiner would deliver the line like that, yeah.
100%. Well, this is him always anticipating disaster and being, but I just want to focus this on a second longer. Watch Princess Bride. There are always those little buttons. There's always those little jokes. There's always those little things. Even in Misery is funny, you know, in its way. Like it's that sort of, I think maybe that's part of what makes it so comforting, his films, is that they remind us of our friends on television, you know?
Yeah. It's a great point.
We're outside.
I know. I shouldn't have done it.
Harry, you're gonna have to try and find a way of not expressing every feeling that you have every moment that you have them.
That's totally Nora. It's so funny how this is a conversation between Nora and Rob.
Oh, really?
Yes. There are times and places for things.
Well, the next time you're giving a lecture series on social graces, would you let me know? Because I'll sign up.
Sally, maybe a decade ago, maybe wouldn't have responded in this way.
Yep.
But this Sally is so much clearer on herself.
You don't have to take your anger out on me.
Oh, I think I'm entitled to throw a little anger your way, especially when I'm being told how to live my life by Miss Hospital Corners.
The thing I realize is they both break up with their significant others.
Yeah.
Harry really is dealing with unexpressed anger. That's really what's going on with Harry.
Right. It's the worst.
He hasn't been yelling. He hasn't been acting angrily, mostly, but it all explodes out in the wagon wheel scene. And I also think Sally's diagnosis of that anger is fueling him sleeping with all sorts of women is 100% true. And I think Sally is really, really sad and hasn't dealt with her sadness. So Harry needs to get that anger out of him, and Sally needs to get through the sadness that she's not dealing with.
They're both right in assessing each other in this moment. It's inappropriate to do it in this heated situation because the message gets lost, but they're absolutely right in what they're saying to each other in this moment because he's right. Sally pretends like nothing's bothering her and that she's totally fine, but she's sitting on it, and Harry is, as you just said, Steve, he's unleashing it all over the place, and now it's blown up here at his best friend and his best friend's soon-to-be wife.
Yep.
And credit to those two for not exploding back at Harry.
Yep.
They take the abuse and just kind of sit there and have the nice button at the end. But yeah, I mean, but this is coming between him and Sally. This has been coming.
What's that supposed to mean?
I mean, nothing bothers you. You never get upset about anything.
Don't be ridiculous.
You never get upset about Joe. I never see that back up on you. How is that possible? Don't you experience any feelings of loss?
There are moments where the truth in a friendship comes out, you know, and sometimes those moments can be really destructive and really painful. Yeah. And sometimes those moments are just what the friendship needs, you know?
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Well, and it occurs to me, they haven't been friends that long. Like we're like heading towards a year into their friendship, I think.
Yeah.
Is that they probably haven't had fights yet.
No, not like this.
I don't have to take this crap from you.
If you're so over Joe, why aren't you seeing anyone?
I see people.
See people? Have you slept with one person since you broke up with Joe?
Has she slept with anyone since breaking up? I don't think so either.
Hell no.
That will prove I'm over Joe because I fucked somebody.
I think giving the word fuck to Sally in this context, there are not a lot of fucks in this. We don't give a lot of fucks in here, and giving it to her at this moment is great.
Harry, you're going to have to move back to New Jersey because you slept with everybody in New York, and I don't see that turning Helen into a faint memory for you.
That is a rough line.
But I think again, as you just said earlier, and we've been saying both of us throughout these episodes, is that Sally is coming into her power as she gets older. Sally 5 years ago would not have said this to Harry about, fucked everyone in Jersey. Like, that's a big defiant stance. That is a pushback on Harry, because Harry at times has steamrolled her in the past in their interactions. But this is a moment where she is like standing her ground and pushing back on him and calling him out and and essentially telling him, your point of view is not me. Stop trying to make me you. I don't see the way the world you do, because Harry is a cynic and Sally is a romantic. She's a hopeful person. And so he thinks that if she sleeps around with people, she's somehow going to get over it. And he calls him out, and she calls him out and says, "You slept with everybody. You're not fucking over it." And it's great because it stops him. It stops him when she pushes back on him. He doesn't go forward with the argument. He realizes that she's right.
And then she comes even stronger.
Besides, I will make love to somebody when it is making love, not the way you do it like you're out for revenge or something.
It's a great analysis.
It's great. It's brutal. It's honest. And this is, the next moment to me is so amazing because these words are almost friendship ending. They're so strong at this moment. And there's this pause, and this is the essence of a real friendship.
Are you finished now?
She says, after a moment,
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
and then instantly,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
and they hug.
It's great.
It's getting me teary-eyed right now, just reading my notes, because I think this is what friendship is. Putting aside before we get to the relationship and love and marriage and all that stuff, which is where we're heading. The key to this movie is it's men and women being friends. It's a friendship. And that moment of, you just said something unbelievably hurtful to me, and I said things that I know hurt you. And I want to move right past it to the hug and the apology. Well, that's friendship.
Yeah, and this is the difference. Harry would have never apologized 5 years ago or 10 years ago. He would have kept going. They'd have blown up and he'd walked out, right? He'd have just walked away. But him realizing that he had to apologize because he is taking his anger out on her is a great indicator of growth. And her receiving his hug, receiving his apology is also growth on her part. So I think friends can say harsh shit to each other. That's kind of life, right? And so it's about when the person realizes they've gone too far or realizes they've hurt the friend, seeking that apology or being honest with that apology. That's what's great. Because later in the film, Steve, we're going to have issues about how honest Harry's apology is about a certain thing when it happens versus an authentic apology, which is what we're witnessing now. And remember earlier, he said, what is the statute of limitations on apologies when she was remembering the things he said to her when they first met?
I think that it's funny you say that because I think this moment just so parallels that moment. There's this is the evolution of that.
Yeah.
So as I think I said before, there are some stories that become Hollywoodized. They become their own story. And so to what degree what I'm about to say, there is definitely truth in this story, but whether or not it's quite as romantic as the way I'm about to describe it. So obviously when you're making this movie, everybody is talking about dating and relationships, and Barry Sonnenfeld comes in as the DP, and Rob is talking to him about his dating experience and just how hopeless he really thinks he is. He's kind of going like, I'm probably not going to fall in love again and stuff like that. And Barry said, don't worry. I know who you're going to marry. Did Barry Sonnenfeld really say this to him? I'm not 100% sure. But he said he knows the perfect person. I know who you're going to marry, and I'm going to bring her to set. And on this day, when they are shooting this scene, a photographer friend of Barry's came on the set to take publicity photos. It is the first day that Rob met her, and that is Michelle Singer, who would become his wife.
Wow.
So Barry Sonnenfeld did introduce them. Wow. Whether or not all this I know who you're going to marry stuff is true, I don't really know. But he definitely introduced them, and this is the first moment they met.
That's amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
Cut to Pictionary. I mean, having world-class improvisers improvise a Pictionary thing is awesome. Sally is drawing. Everyone is yelling out. In particular, Jess is saying ridiculous things.
Baby's breath.
Baby. Rosemary's baby's mouth.
Baby.
Won't you come home, Bill, baby?
Baby, kiss the baby.
Melancholy baby's mouth.
Baby fish mouth.
Ethel
Baby
Merman.
fish mouth.
We find out that it's baby talk, and this is one of those quotable moments.
Baby talk. What's that? That's not a saying.
Oh, but baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation.
To this day, Billy Crystal gets baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation all the time.
I bet. For quite a few years, I would say that when someone said something ridiculous. Oh, but baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation.
And I think this is a great moment because the game ends. We've been following Harry and Sally's friendship and their relationship. We know they are super, super close. And then when that round of Pictionary ends and people get up, Harry goes to this one girl and Sally goes to this guy. And we're going, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, they exchanged looks, not with each other, but sneak looks off at each other's significant other. And Harry's significant other is Tracy Reiner, who is, of course, Penny Marshall's daughter that Rob adopted. And she is Betty Spaghetti from League of Their Own. So she has a small part here as Emily. That is Betty Spaghetti that you see there as Billy Crystal's date, I guess, for lack of a better term. And Frank Luz is the Julian, who's Sally's date, but he's been in stuff, but it wasn't too many things. So yeah, but I was nice to see Tracy Reiner in there because she gave a go of it. She tried to make a go of it as an actress and did her thing, but for a little bit, but didn't keep going with it for sure.
And then we're going to do a little Cine-Files move, which is in the movie, there are two scenes intercut where Sally is talking to Marie about Harry's date and Harry is talking to Jess about Sally's date. We'll just handle them all at once rather than going back and forth.
Yeah.
Emily's a little young for Harry, don't you think?
No, she's young, but look what she's done.
And we find out that she is Aunt Emily, who makes 3,500 chocolate mousse pies a week.
Julian is great.
I know. He's a grown-up.
So there's one side of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we go to the other side, Harry and Jess, where it's exactly the same scene because Sally started with undercutting Emily. And the first thing Harry says is,
Does Julian seem a little stuffy to you?
and it's again the same thing on the other side because Marie said how awesome Emily is. And now Jess is going to say how awesome Julian is.
Yeah, trying to defend the situation. But they're both clearly, in their emotionally repressed way, jealous, I guess, about the fact that the other person is with someone else.
Emily is terrific.
Yeah.
And then it's a thing about where Sally said, yes, he's a grown-up. Now we're talking about Emily being really young.
Of course, when I asked her where she was when Kennedy was shot, she said Ted Kennedy was shot?
No.
No, I love Jess's reaction. No, like it's so perfect, And Billy used to have a bit in the 80s on his stand-up where he talked about his daughter coming to him, asking him if Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings. And he said that made him, that he said, could feel the age spots blowing up on my hands when she asked me that question. So, that's so great.
And it is interesting that for Sally, I like this guy. He's a grown-up. And for Harry, the girl I'm dating is very young.
Yeah.
That just shows some things about what they think about men and women.
Agreed.
Hello?
Are you alone?
Yeah, I was just finishing a book.
Could you come over?
What's the matter?
He's getting married.
Who?
Joe.
I'll be right there.
And again, this is good friends. Do you think that he's still dating Emily and she's still dating Julian at this moment?
Yeah, but neither one are serious. I don't think either one are serious. Because I have a feeling Harry goes through dates every 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. He's dating somebody new. And I think the Julian thing probably ran its course.
My theory, of which I have no evidence, I think they broke up almost right after that party.
Probably.
And in particular, because they're not into Emily and Julian. I mean, they're into Harry and Sally. And we get to Sally's apartment and we open the door and she is just a adorably sobbing mess, a complete mess.
Hi.
You all right?
Come on in.
And there's something that Rob talks about, which I remember hearing Carl Reiner talk about, which is Carl Reiner was worried when they cast the Dick Van Dyke Show whether or not Mary Tyler Moore would be able to do the comedy Cry. And the comedy Cry, made famous by Lucille Ball, is that you could have someone be completely emotional and crying and have it be hilarious. And of course, Mary Tyler Moore going, "Oh, Rob," perfect at it. And this was the big question for Meg Ryan. Can she do the comedy Cry? And boy, she can. The scene she's so good in this scene.
I'm sorry to call you so late.
It's all right.
I need a Kleenex.
Okay.
Okay.
What did he call her before? Miss Hospital Corners.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Miss Hospital Corners.
No, the bed is unmade. She's like, she's dropping tissues all over the place as she's crying and wiping her nose. This is her, just like Harry. When Harry was rattled, he's yelling at his best friends and he's in bed and he's just like out of control. Here's Sally, who has got news that rattled her, and now she's off kilter, and you're seeing her behave in ways that she has not behaved before. You know, she's not in control.
And I'm sitting on the phone thinking, I'm over him. I really am over him. I can't believe I was ever remotely interested in any of that.
And Harry's being a great friend. He's holding that tissue box. He's like watching where she goes, like, because there's no controlling your friend at this moment. There's no settling them down. They have to do what they have to do.
Yep.
And the outrage from Sally, it's not just that Joe is getting married, it's who he's getting married to.
She works in his office. She's a paralegal. Her name is Kimberly.
And then I love, this is this thing that Nora Ephron said, that she was raised in this. She grew up believing in the romantic story. Yeah. And so there was a way that things were supposed to go. And it took her a long time to realize that things don't go the way they're supposed to go. And that's what Sally is struggling with.
She's supposed to be his transitional person. She's not supposed to be the one.
And then this line, even more powerful.
All this time, I've been saying that he didn't want to get married. But the truth is, he didn't want to marry me. He didn't love me.
Yeah. I think that's one of the hardest truths that you learn as you grow up in relationships, is that things don't work out for a reason. And no matter how much you thought you guys were perfect together, if you break up, you weren't, or it's run its course. And that's the hard thing. You think, how could I've given them everything. How can they not be happy? But there's something you just can't explain, and that makes the difference. It always makes the difference.
You know what you remember when I told the story of my first breakup, and I spent 6 months to a year listening to Bob Marley on endless repeat because I was such a sad sack. And the thing that I said was that really it wasn't about her. Really, it was about me. It was about the image of myself and me feeling rejected and me feeling unlovable.
Right.
And I think what Sally did was she told herself a story about this mutual breakup, that they were both responsible people who cared about each other and made a rational decision for rational reasons, and they just wanted different things, and that was totally okay. Yeah. And she forced herself to believe this thing that wasn't really true because she didn't want to face this idea that he didn't want to marry me, that he didn't love me, because that makes it about her and something wrong with her, and it's only now that she's finally facing that reality.
Right. Because I think she's talked herself into the belief that she's fine with it. Because she agreed with it, right? Yes. And so in a way, she thought she was having power in the breakup, and rather than being honest about her feelings about the breakup, that she still loved Joe and didn't want to let go. She thought the smarter thing was just to lean into the fact that he really wanted to go, and then I'll make it seem like I'm on board with him, right? And so you've got this situation here. Now, clearly, she's been exposed because of this reaction. And that's the way it is. Grief, you sit on grief, then you see something and you have no idea, and it triggers all of this outpouring of stuff.
Harry asks exactly the right question at this moment.
If you could take him back right now, would you?
No. But why didn't he want to marry me?
And she, again, Meg Ryan's so good, that she could be so adorable and so funny and completely just sobbing and, sad and playing this all so real is so great. She plops back on the bed. We're in that top-down shot, looking down at her. It's sort of across Harry's shoulder. It's already a very intimate position.
What's the matter with me?
Nothing.
I'm difficult.
You're challenging.
I'm too structured. I'm completely closed off.
But in a good way.
Which, Sally is very structured. She can be closed off. And Harry is in love with her. And so it is in a good way.
No, I drove him away. And I'm gonna be 40.
When?
Someday.
In 8 years.
But it's there.
It's all so funny.
But it's something that there's a really an element of truth in this, and I discovered this being friends with some of my friends coming through college, and of course, I'm not going to name names, but some of the people that we know. But like there was this thing, like if I'm not married by 27, if I don't have kids by 27, if I don't like there are these perceptions. I think it's changed now. I think women now, the new generation of women who are coming through, like they're much more in control and possession of like this idea of when they want to get married, when they want to have kids. There's less the pressure of like, well, if they don't do it by this time, then they're somehow seen as defective, right? And I think there was a perception for a number of decades that women had to get married, had to have kids by a certain time, because if they weren't, then they were seen as pariahs or defective or somehow abnormal. And so for her to say that, like she's going to be 40, but it's 8 years away, it's a bit of a I don't want to say hysterical, but you know what I mean, kind of reaction that's going a little overboard for it. But it's played for laughs, which I think is very fun. And he's very soothing to her. He's very comforting to her. He's trying his best to speak to her pain and try to make her feel better about the situation, which I think Harry might not have done 5 years ago or 10 years ago, which is great.
Do you know, by the way, it just popped into my brain because you mentioned it. Do you know what the word origin of hysterical is?
I do not.
It is from the uterus, which is why removing the uterus is called a hysterectomy, because hysteria was associated with women. That is what. So it is actually a sexist based word. And
yes, I know that.
And what's interesting is like I actually, there are realities that women have to deal with in terms of time, in terms of their uteri that men don't have to deal with, and there are all these pressures at work because of it. And so these ticking clocks, they're not bullshit. Like there are real things happening here.
No, I agree.
And it's not the same for men. Charlie Chaplin had babies when he was 73.
Yeah, but he was too old to pick them up.
I remember going to see a production of Lost in Yonkers on Broadway.
Oh, right.
And I remember having the experience, and the play is so good, I love Neil Simon so much, is that I was literally laughing and crying at the same time. And I think this scene is like, it's totally real emotionally, and it's really, really funny. And he's comforting her, and there's a little a comforting kiss as he goes to, it says, I'm going to go make you some tea. And then she says, and we all know where this scene is going. From the moment he showed up, I think we know where this scene is going.
I'll make some tea.
Harry, could you just hold me a little longer?
Oh, sure.
And they're holding each other, and he touches her face, and another little kiss, and then she kisses him, and then they are kissing.
So this is interesting, because I've never kissed any of my female friends on the lips. I think it's weird, and that's my own point of view on it. So Harry is the one who initiates this. Harry leans in and kisses her the first time. It isn't her coming to him. It's him coming to her. And then the second time, he does it again. He leans in and gets the kiss from her, right? And then the third time is her leaning, and he's actually kind of taken aback by it, and then we go. So it's interesting. You could say Harry, in a way, was giving the signs to her that he, kisses her. I don't know if this is the first time he's ever kissed her on the lips in this way. And so the second time is almost saying like, there is an interest here. And Sally, who's clearly had a dormant interest in Harry, and clearly Harry's had a dormant interest in her, you could argue that their movements here and the kisses here are their safe way of finally consummating this relationship and the feelings that there has been developing between them for quite some time.
What I think is amazing about this movie is that we can know these characters really, really well and be really connected to them and feel with them and actually have no idea what they're thinking the whole way leading up to this. We don't, you know what I mean? Like, it could be that every day Harry was like, God, Sally's beautiful. Man, I wonder what she looks like naked. Like he could have those thoughts all the time, or he could have not had those thoughts. Sally, he could have, when that first kiss happens, he could be turned on. I don't think he is, but he could be. Like, he could see it as like, okay, this is my chance to finally sleep with Sally. Sally, when she kisses him, they could, it's like the way I've always seen the scene is that it just happens and suddenly they're in the middle of it. They're both emotional. They care a lot about each other. They're there. But how much intention is behind each of these things, how much of each of them thought of this kind of event before. We don't know, you know?
Yeah, we don't. I don't think he went and I think he's right what he says later, which we'll get to, is when he says, when I went over there that night, I didn't go there to sleep with you.
I think so
and
too.
I agree with him. And so I think the kiss is coming from a repressed sense of comfort for her. And I think he's kissing her as a person who doesn't know he's in love with her.
Yes, that's how I feel too.
Right? Yeah. But he's doing it from a place of comfort, not from a place to instigate a sexual encounter. But that's what ends up happening, right? Because she has feelings for him. And he is the first person that she will sleep with since Joe, you know? And so
you don't think she slept with Julian?
Hell no. Fuck no. No.
Even after he took him to the baseball game?
Yeah, even after he took him to the baseball game, yes.
I don't think so either. I think that's why I go, I think the dating Julian, it was like 6 dates, you know?
Yeah, I think for her, she makes love. She doesn't have sex. Yeah. She makes love. Harry has sex and will maybe find love, which he does with Sally, of course, and make love then. But he does never.
He does. I mean,
I don't think he's ever made love. I don't think he's ever made love because I think Helen was in control the whole time.
I think so too. Certainly nothing like this. Because he wasn't in love with Helen. You can't make love if you're not really in love. And he is in love with Sally. He loves her on every level. And I think the next shot is one of the most amazing shots. It's so perfect. And again, you know what I think this shot is? What? So you know how I said I'll have what she's having is a great line, but what makes it a great line is that it's built on all this stuff. It's not that it's a great line just sitting on its own. Why this is a great shot is that it combines the two big things, intimate things that we learned about men and women, I believe. Yeah. The second part of the shot is guys wondering how long do they have to stay and snuggle before they can get up and leave.
Right.
But the first part of the shot, I believe, in my opinion, this was not like Sex with Sheldon. And this was not a performance like we saw in Katz's Deli.
Right.
I think Sally genuinely enjoyed herself. And the joy and peacefulness and happiness and contentedness that she shows in this shot is perfectly contrasted with the look of stark terror on Harry's face as the camera pans over to him.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great because it's two completely different reactions to that moment. And she has given herself to him. So to her, this is love.
Yeah.
To Harry, who is emotionally repressed, this is utter fear because he doesn't know what to do now. And he just kind of goes a little bit through the motions until they go to sleep. You know, but he's rattled by it all.
Well, and I think too is that, okay, we had the moment of consummation. We've been waiting this whole movie for these two crazy kids to get together. And now in the next moment after going, yes, they did it. I mean, we're basically going to be Marie and Jess is in that shot. We go, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, because we realize what's going on. And I'll say this too. I will say if the sex hadn't been good, if it hadn't been making love, if it just had been sex, Harry would not be nearly so freaked out as he is right now.
You're 100% right. 100% right.
Do you want something to drink or something?
No, I'm okay.
Well, I'm going to get up for some water, so it's really no trouble.
Okay. Water.
He's so terrified.
Sure is the death of any relationship. Go ahead. Especially if it's like...
And she's just glowing with happiness. She really is, and that's what makes it's not just his behavior that's shitty. It's the contrast with how she's feeling and then how he behaves.
Yes, 100%. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She goes into the kitchen and she bounces around, just smiling at everything.
It's great product placement for the Evian water.
Yes,
and then him. It's so funny that he would forage around to see what's there. It's an interesting decision to do that while she's out of the room. Right?
I think
what is it about seeing how anal retentive she is? You know?
I think, well, because we get a little anal retentive joke, but I really think it is if he didn't do that, he wouldn't be able to stop himself from getting out of the bed.
Oh, great point.
Is that he's like going, I got to do something because he knows how shitty this is. What it's about.
Yeah, he knows, and he knows he can't just walk out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, well, has he slept at all since we woke up in the middle of the night? No,
I don't think so.
He is
not at all.
The thing he's about to say, he has been composing in his head. How do I get the fuck out of here, but not act like but be nice about it? Like, that's what he's been trying to figure out. She wakes up, and of course, he's out of the bed, and she looks up and sees him getting dressed. And just in that moment, she knows, you know.
And I think she suspected.
Yeah.
If you watch that scene before they turn off before they go to bed, rather, he is not like rolling over to snug her or to cuddle her. He is kind of staying in his area of the bed. And then she, after she's turned off the lights, notices that he's not doing that. And so, but she's just going to stay where she's at, right? Because I think there's a thing of like, well, I'm not going to unsettle the apple cart. I'm here. I'm just going to see how this plays out. But when she wakes up, he's getting dressed. And that is like a shocking thing. Because I'm of the other side with you, Steve, on this. I didn't know what was going to happen in the scene. And I didn't think they were going to hook up in this scene. So when it happens, it's a shock to me. I remember watching it the first time. I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't suspect they were going to end up together or start the process quite this way. So it was all a shock to me. And then to see him getting up, putting on his clothes, I was like, oh man, this is bad news. This is
terrible.
Bad news. Yeah.
Where are you going?
I gotta go. Gotta go home, I gotta change my clothes, and then I have to go to work, and so do you. But after work, I'd like to take you out to dinner if you're free.
Oh, I could hear how in his head this sounded like this was going to sound okay.
This is an AI chatbot after you slept with it. That's what it sounds like. And I love what Meg Ryan does here in acting. Like, she yanks up the covers to cover herself.
Yeah.
Because Harry, in a way, is violating what they've just gone through, and now he doesn't get access to her body. Like, it's a way of protecting herself. It's an instinctual thing, but it's a brilliant micro move to convey what's going on between them.
And the just coldness of the fines at the end of the scene as he says goodbye and she watches him go.
Yeah.
And you just, Harry. I mean,
dude, kisses her on the top of the head, no less. Oof.
Yeah. So the next scene we talked about in Annie Hall, the scene with the therapists and what Woody Allen had thought we were going to have these combined scenes and that we would shoot them with split screen. And it was the DP Gordon Willis who said, no, let's shoot this on a live set and actually shoot it all at the same time. Well, that's what they did here. Is that in the next scene where we're going to have Jess and Marie and Harry and Sally all on the phone having this conversation, is they shot this all at the same time. They are on 4 different kind of mini sets or 3 different mini sets. So you have the Jess and Marie set and you have Harry on a set. They're on live telephones and the sound people are pumping all the dialogue into each of the phones so they can hear each other. So they're doing this all in real time. And it just, I mean, I'm sure you've done scenes kind of like this. The degree of difficulty of this to get the rhythm exactly super crisp, no pauses, right on the money.
Yeah.
I think they did 60 takes of this.
Wow.
Scene.
Wow.
Because it's all one shot.
Crap.
And you get to the end and one person hesitates a little bit or comes in a little bit too early. And this doesn't work. You got to start over.
Hello.
I'm sorry to call so early.
Are you all right?
No one I know would call at this hour.
I did something terrible.
What did you do?
No one I know would call at this
It's
hour.
so awful.
I need to talk.
And then we're going to hear, again, this is that great Nora Ephron dialogue. We're going to hear the story, but told from both Harry and Sally separately in slightly different ways.
What happened?
What's the matter?
Harry came over last
I went
night.
over to Sally's last night.
Because I was upset that Joe was getting married.
And one thing led to another.
And before I knew it, we were kissing.
To make
and
a long
then
story short,
we did it.
They did it.
They did it.
And what we hear now in the next part of the scene is that, of course, this is all Jess and Marie have been talking about forever.
It's great, Sally.
We've been praying for
You
it.
should have done it in the first place.
For months we've been saying you should do it.
You guys belong together.
It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
It's like 2 wrongs make a right.
It's not the best metaphors. And so that's the next beat. It's first, we did it. And second, great, we're really happy for you. Third, how was it?
The during part was
I
good,
thought it was good.
but then I felt
But
suffocated.
then I guess it wasn't.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
The
I
worst.
had to get out of there.
He just disappeared.
I feel so bad.
I'm so embarrassed.
This is a great window into a scene and the interpretation of an interaction with a man and a woman in this moment, right? Like we were just saying, oh, Harry, why would you make these mistakes, right? But Harry is giving us a window to what he felt, which is he felt suffocated by the situation. He had to get out of there because that was his own like way of saving himself from the situation. And he didn't think about how it might look to Sally, although he tried to do his best, I think, to get out of there as respectfully as possible. And I think inviting her to dinner was his way of trying to be like, hey, but I still want to see you for dinner, even though this may be offending you, what I'm doing, to try to smooth things over. But he clearly felt suffocated. And so you have to honor people's feelings in a moment. Whether he did the right thing or not is up for debate, but he did the right thing for himself, which was to get out of there because he was suffocating. But she, of course, has a different point of view that he just left her that way. So it's a fascinating window into seeing how two people could see this same interactions in two completely different ways.
So part of why I really do think why the feeling of suffocation was so strong was that this is actually your true love who you're going to marry and be with for the rest of your life. You know, that's
right.
Suffocating. It's like, this isn't just someone, this is a big deal. I mean, it's like you sleep with your best friend. That's either going to change your friendship or, something's going to change. This is not nothing. So I think there's that. I want to go back and go over these lines again, because I think that it expresses what you're talking about, which is they ask how it was, and they actually both agree on how the sex was.
Yes.
The during part was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then Harry goes to his emotional place by saying, then I felt suffocated. That's not actually about the sex. That's about how he felt after.
No, of course, the emotion.
And Sally felt Harry pull away. Mm-hmm. And she goes, but then I guess it wasn't.
Right.
And what she has now done, because what she had said about the sex was, I thought it was good.
Right.
And now she is retroactively, based on what she saw in Harry's reaction, gone, oh, maybe I was wrong. Like, maybe the sex wasn't good. Maybe I wasn't experienced, because then what she later is going to say is how embarrassed she feels, you know? Like, there's a whole, it's just all so well written. It comes down so fast.
It would have been great if it worked out, but it didn't.
I should never go to bed with anyone when you found out your last boyfriend is getting married.
Who's that talking?
Who?
Is that Jess on the phone?
It's Jane Fonda on the VCR.
It's Brian Gumbel.
And then they hang up. And then I loved, as much as I think Marie was not always so nice about Jess's wagon wheel, this moment is so lovely, and why you feel so good about this couple.
Tell me I'll never have to be out there again.
You will never have to be out there again.
That is a great feeling. As someone who endeavors to never be out there again, that is a great feeling.
It's so funny. I probably won't put this in because I sit there and go, promise me I'll never have to be in there again.
I'll just say we made a mistake.
Sally, it was a mistake.
I just hope I get to say it first.
I hope she says it before I do.
That's a window into Sally a little bit, that although she's been finding her voice and growing stronger, the fact that she says that she wants to say it first, like she wants to reject him first before he rejects her, that's a little bit of pride and ego, right? So she's not quite fully grown just yet, but clearly there's still some stuff to work out there, and him too. Like, I hope she's the one that said that way I'm not the bad guy.
Yeah.
I hope she says it. So there is a little bit, both of them, a little bit of slight emotional immaturity in how they're preparing to deal with this conversation.
I find the next several scenes very painful because of this. I mean, it's like there was a pathway. If somehow Harry had been able to handle that moment of feeling suffocated and getting up differently, if Sally didn't say it was a mistake right away, if there's so many ifs of like, but also, if you can't actually rise above something until you hit the bottom, like they have to go on this painful journey. And so I have to go on this painful journey with them. They're sitting at dinner and Sally does what she wanted to do.
It was a mistake.
And then Harry is just too eager. Yeah. If he hadn't come in quite so strong, this might have gone a little better.
Which you can see on her face.
I am so relieved that you think so too. I'm not saying last night wasn't great.
It was.
Yes, it was.
We just never should have done it.
I couldn't agree more.
They're both too enthusiastic,
Well, she's almost offended. Like you said,
she's taken aback.
You can see her face, right?
Yeah.
Her face is not happy with how enthusiastic Harry is about it. Yeah. She wants him to fight for her. She can't say that. She can't say that because that kind of ruins the organic nature of someone fighting for you. But she wants him to fight for her. And every opportunity that she kind of lays out for him to possibly fight for her, he doesn't take advantage of it. Which, of course, is what leads us to the great monologue at the end. He wants her to fight for him. She wants him to fight for her. So, you know.
Well, and what was the scene? What was Sally crying about? It wasn't really about Joe.
No.
It was about, why doesn't he want to marry me? What's wrong with me?
Why does no one want me? Why does no one want to fight for me? Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so she puts this out right away that it was a mistake because what she doesn't, she wants to take control of, I'm not going to reject you. I'm going to reject you before you can reject me, because right now she's feeling totally unlovable. And he doesn't do anything to help her to feel lovable, even though he's in love with her, Right.
I'm so relieved.
There's just that little waver in her voice, and then the waiter delivers a salad, which I believe can frequently be the most awkward thing to eat on a date.
100%.
Yeah. And they just sit there and eat in silence, and then Harry says,
It is so nice when you can sit with someone and not have to talk.
Sometimes that's nice.
I know. He's almost like Will Ferrell in Anchorman. We are laughing. We are sitting here eating salad and not talking. Yeah, it's all that stuff.
Speed walking.
Oh God. Oh my God. Yeah.
Some things are just like, really, we did that. And it's like the stretch pants that they're wearing. That's really key to the whole thing.
Oof. God, it's so emasculating. That's it.
It's just like most of the time you go to bed with someone, and then she tells you all her stories, you tell all your stories. Well, with Sally and me, we'd already heard each other's stories. So once we went to bed, we didn't know what we were supposed to do,
Sure, Harry.
And then we cut to Marie getting fitted for her bridal gown. It's beautiful.
Is Harry bringing anyone to the wedding?
You have to ask that question. That means they really haven't been talking. Like they've barely spoken since the salad incident.
He was seeing this anthropologist, but
What does she look like?
thin, pretty, big tits. Your basic nightmare.
Just Carrie Fishering it is so great. And we cut to the wedding. And of course, as we're listening to the vows about love and marriage and exchanging rings, Harry and Sally are either looking or not looking at each other in incredibly strong ways.
And I think it's fascinating too that, this occurred to me this time watching. And sometimes, my brain goes a little farther on these things, as some of you have pointed out who listen to us. But like, she's wearing green. And green is the color of envy. And I think she envies what Marie and Jess have. I think when she looks at Jess's dress, part of that great reaction, which you talked about, which is a fantastic reaction, there's almost a sense of her, like, she loves the idea of love. She loves the idea of getting married, of being a bride. Some people are genuinely in love with getting married, and so her reaction to it is more than just Jess's dress. It's the idea of it all that she is reacting to. And then here, she's looking at Harry for something, and Harry won't give her anything. And then she feels awkward and kind of looks away. But she is wearing green. So in my mind, it's a little bit of a slight subconscious indicator that she envies what Jess and Marie have.
Nice ceremony.
Beautiful.
And then he goes into some shtick.
Trying to release the tension there.
Boy, the holidays are rough. Every year I just try to get from the day before Thanksgiving to the day after New Year's.
A lot of suicides.
And it's like, what I wrote down here is like, now she's the dark one, man.
Are you seeing anybody?
Harry,
What?
I don't want to talk about this.
Why not?
I don't want to talk about it.
Why can't we get past this? I mean, are we going to carry this thing around forever?
Forever. It just happened.
It happened 3 weeks ago.
So that's not that long.
No, it isn't. For Harry, it is, because he sleeps with women all the time in his mind. Yeah.
Has Harry slept with any women since that night?
I think he slept with that skinny anthropologist.
Oh, yeah,
with
you're
boobs.
probably right.
100%. 100%.
You know how a year to a person is like 7 years to a dog?
How did I snarf you? You know the line was coming.
That's what great comedy is.
Is one of us supposed to be a dog in this scenario?
Yes.
Who is the dog?
You are.
I am. I am the dog. I am the dog.
Oh, this is how you write. This is great writing. Her re-stressing it 3 times. I am the dog. And it's so great, because she's pushing back on it. She's fighting back, which I think is great. And here's Harry, again, as I said earlier, here's Harry trying to get closure so they can move past it, trying to force it. But she's not ready to move past it until they actually talk about it. And Harry is not used to that.
First of all, Karen and I would say, I am the dog, or is someone supposed to be the dog in this scenario all the time to each other. That was a very common line to get quoted. And I think what you just totally spot on about, and just to add to it, is that Harry wants to deal with the thing sideways. He wants to joke his way into it. He wants to lightly deal with it so they can just go back to the way things were. He doesn't actually want to deal with the real emotions. It's only when we deal with those real emotions in the final monologue that he can get there,
Right, exactly.
What's funny about this to me is there's a misunderstanding of the meaning of the metaphor of a dog.
Yeah.
What Harry was actually trying to say is that time has seemed longer for Sally or shorter because she's the dog and dogs see time in a different way. He's making a thing about time. But when she hears the word dog, I think she focuses on a dog as in someone who's having a lot of sex or going, and so she feels that he's calling her something terrible.
I don't see that, Harry. If anybody is the dog, you are the dog. You want to act like what happened didn't mean anything.
I'm not saying it didn't mean anything. I am saying, why does it have to mean everything?
Because it does. And you should know that better than anybody, because the minute that it happens, you walk right out the door.
And it's you know what? It's funny. We had a fight with them before where they said some really honest things to each other.
Yeah.
And this one is going to not go the way that one went.
We both agreed it was a mistake.
The worst mistake I ever made.
And she storms off into the kitchen. It's funny. I have always watched this on Team Harry, I think, in this. I'm a guy. And
okay.
Just this scene, because I'm always like, look, he's trying his best. He's trying. He's not trying his best. He's trying.
Yeah.
And I think I'm seeing it so much more from Sally's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And how she's feeling through all this and why Harry has to jump through a lot of hoops to get there, Yeah.
Yeah, because he's the one that messed the way he left was all wrong. And she's right to fight for equality in the situation. He's got to atone for what he did. And so she's trying to call him out for it, for the approach he's taking.
It's funny. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think in the end, it's not him atoning. It's him being honest. That is finally what does it. At the end, yeah.
Right.
It's
But she is going to make him suffer until he realizes that she's no longer going to be, and she's going to say that in a couple of seconds as we get to it, she is no longer, or on the phone a little bit later, she is not going to be his fallback anymore. After they've had sex, after they've had the consummation of the relationship, she is much more clearer on what is going on here. She's no longer afraid of what she feels for Harry. She is now willing to stand for it. And if he's not going to meet her at that level, she is going to leave him behind. And I think this is what the process is that we're going to get into once we get out of the scene and she slaps him.
So I want you to hold that thought. I want to get through the rest of the lines, and I have a slightly different take on it, I think. But he says,
what do you want from me?
I don't want anything from you.
Fine. But let's just get one thing straight. I did not go over there that night to make love to you. That is not why I went there. But you looked up at me with his big weepy eyes. Don't go home tonight, Harry. Hold me a little longer, Harry. What was I supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do, Harry, is not say that shit.
Shit.
That is terrible, everything you just said there.
What are you saying? You took pity on me?
No, I was...
Fuck you.
And it's a good slap, too.
It is a good slap.
What I think is going on with Sally is that I think this is so much about self-protection and who she is. It's not so much I'm trying to get something from you. It is, this is who I am and how I expect to be treated. Right. I don't think it's that Harry has to atone. It's I'm not going to let you treat me that way. I am not going to be the person. What he does is immaterial, I think, in what she is saying.
Well, yes, standing her ground, but she is not going to no longer accept him. She's not going to let him get away with just trying to walk past this.
Right.
And so and I think if she wasn't about that, she wouldn't have been ignoring his calls for so long. She ignores those calls because she wants Harry to suffer a little bit and earn her back. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
See, that's where I don't.
Well, then
I'm
you
not sure that I
explain
agree.
then explain. Well, we'll get to that. Well, let's get to that, and that's because I like this as a debate about what she's doing.
Well, because to me, it's about like if you're in a toxic situation, leaving the toxic situation, not about getting the toxic person to do something you want them to do. It's I can't be in this situation anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think this is a toxic situation. Do you think?
No, I don't think so either.
Okay,
I don't think so either. I was
Okay.
just using that as an analogy.
Okay.
So, and then in the moment after this slap,
But I love the slap, by the way. The slap is
great.
defiance, right?
Yeah. And then we go immediately back out in the reception where Jess and Marie are giving their toast just as Sally and Harry walk back in from the kitchen. You can feel in not only the aftermath of the slap, but you can see the red on Harry's face where he just got slapped.
Yes.
To Harry and Sally, if Marie or I had found either of them remotely attractive, we would not be here today.
It's exactly the kind of joke you would get at a wedding, and it is perfectly painful considering what just happened with them.
I think of the scene in The Heartbreak Kid. If, for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't mean the original because that's a great one, but the terrible remake, which is is a guilty pleasure of mine. The same thing happens at the end, or the same thing happens in the beginning of the movie where the woman getting married is Ben Stiller's ex-girlfriend. And I think she says that if I had found him attractive, I wouldn't have gotten married to this man. Rob Corger, who is playing Ben Stiller's best friend, stands up at the front of the ceremony, turns around and goes, "Oh man," and stares back at Ben. And I think that's another great way to play a moment like this. That's really funny. So yeah. Wedding stuff, humor and wedding stuff is great.
Humor and pain frequently go together with weddings. There could be all sorts of weird stuff going on. We go into a montage of all of what their life is like building up to the holiday season without each other. Sally getting a tree by herself. We have Harry calling and leaving messages.
Hi, it's me. It's the holiday season, and I thought I'd remind you that this is the season of charity and forgiveness.
And although it is not widely known, it is also the season of groveling. So if you felt like calling me back, I'd be more than happy to do the traditional Christmas grovel.
Harry's trying to apologize.
He knows he fucked up again.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so but she's not going to give that to him yet. She is going to make him earn her back.
Yes. Well, this is where I don't agree. I think she's done with this relationship. I think she has decided I am not going to be friends with Harry Burns anymore. Not trying to get him to do something to come back. I think that's what she thinks. I'm not saying that's the reality, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. We'll just have to disagree on that because I think she's absolutely doing it intentionally. Not because how can I say this? Not because she wants to control Harry. It's not from that point. It's a point of it still ties into what you're saying and what we've been saying is that she respects herself now.
Yeah.
And because Harry has twice fucked this up, she is not going to allow him to get away with it. And she is not going to allow herself to give him the easy route out. Because I think she's done this with every man. I think with every man she's been with, she has given them the out. And she has suffered for it. But this time, she's not going to do it anymore. It's a defiant stance. She's not going to pick up the phone and make him feel better. She is not going to give him what he wants. She is going to stay away from this situation until she feels she is ready to have the conversation and accept his apology. And I think that's a strong stance of self-love that we haven't seen from her throughout the whole movie.
So we basically agree on 90%, and it's this sliver at the end. And it's funny where that sliver is of what does she want from Harry. It's kind of what I was saying before of we know these characters so well, but I actually don't know what they're thinking. Because if Sally is Sally in her mind envisioning a future friendship with Harry or even a future romantic relationship with Harry, or is she not thinking about that? I don't know. I don't know how much she's thinking about those things. So, in my mind, I'm more on the side of this isn't healthy for me. I'm taking care of myself and I'm moving on from this relationship.
Yeah, we're both.
And in your mind, it's more. I want something from him.
We're both in the same camp.
Yeah, exactly.
In that but like you're saying she's done with the relationship, and I don't think she is. I think she's saying she's done with that version of the relationship, and she wants a relationship where Harry meets her and treats her as an equal.
Right.
And she's not going to do it until he does.
Which is of course what's happened, because of course I'm not I think she thinks she's done with the relationship. I know the movie, you're in a movie, you're not done with this relationship.
Right.
Obviously, she doesn't want to talk to me. What do I have to do, be hit over the head? If she wants to call me, she'll call me. I'm through making a schmuck out of myself.
Cut to
him calling her.
calling her singing with the karaoke machine.
Call me.
Don't be afraid to just phone moi.
Call me and I'll be around.
But I think this is also important for Harry. Harry has always found a way to do everything on his terms. And I think with every girl he's been with, it's been his terms. Even when he's fucked up, he's tried that jokey apology and it's worked. But she's not giving in to all the stuff that he's doing. So he has to learn. He has to grow. And in essence, atoning for the things that he's done before. I'm not saying and maybe you're right. I'm not saying that she's making him atone. I'm saying as the viewer.
We're agreed.
He has to atone for it. Yeah.
Well, and I'm not saying, like, I think, because part of me looking at it is like, you know what? And I'll say it about myself. Sometimes the jokey approach isn't appropriate because you're actually protecting yourself from feeling the real feelings.
Exactly. And
that's what Harry's
can come
doing.
across like you're mocking their feelings by joking about it. Right. It can come across that way.
The only place we're differing is on intent, is that what has to happen for each of these characters, we're 100% agreed on.
Yeah.
And so he's leaving this cute singing message, and you see her listening to it. And I'm sure you've done this where it's like, do I really want to pick up? And finally, she picks up.
Hi, Harry.
Hello? Hi. I didn't know that you were there.
What are you doing?
What are you doing is it's an intimate question for people that doesn't work so well for people that aren't really being friendly at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was a weird question too when I was seeing it.
What do you want, Harry?
Nothing. I just called to say I'm sorry.
You could see so many emotions playing with both of them.
I think she's genuinely finally heard his apology. Like she's legitimate. You can see in her face that she's like registering the honesty in that, in his voice, which is great.
Yeah,
but you're right. You see the emotions going through both. And I love that she cuts him off and says, "What do you want, Harry?" Boom. It's very strong. Yeah.
So it's funny. I want to go back to like this idea we talked about it for closure. You know what I'd actually say maybe more accurately to reflect my feelings is that to some degree, you got to know you're not going to get everything you want, and you got to take what you can, what they can give to some degree. Right. You know, is that the odds of someone giving you the perfect apology that gives you everything you need to hear are slim. Harry's been trying to apologize. Has it been the perfect apology? No, it isn't. And he's going to make the perfect speech in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
But he has been trying. Yeah. And then it's so sad because I know why he goes to this as the next thing. And it's exactly, if Sally is feeling all this insecurity and feeling unlovable and not understanding why nobody wants to marry her, this is exactly what you shouldn't say.
What are you doing for New Year's? Are you going to the Tyler's party? Because I don't have a date. And if you don't have a date, we always said that if neither one of us had a date, we could be together for New Year's and a good kid, what do...
I can't do this anymore. I am not your consolation prize. Goodbye.
That consolation prize, man, I think that's been echoing around in her brain ever since he got up and walked out on her.
Yeah.
She feels like just another, she's heard him talk about all the horrible women he slept with and walked out on. And she feels like I'm just one of them.
Yep. And she's worth more than that.
Yeah.
And she is not going to open the door to a possibility of them being together again if he doesn't understand that.
And now it's New Year's Eve because this is about holidays and Harry is just watching TV, at home alone.
What's so bad about this? You have Dick Clark, that's tradition. You got Malamar's, the greatest cookie of all time.
Man, those New Yorkers, they love their Malamars, man.
Yeah.
It's a good
I've never had one. I don't even know what that is.
It's good. Okay. I think it's like chocolate and marshmallow. And
is it a Tim Tam? Is it a New York version of a Tim Tam? Or no? What is a Malamar? Would you say that?
Let's hold on. Well, we need to be accurate. This is the Cine-Files. I believe I know what it is.
And with a foodie. Yes, of course. Yes.
It is a graham cracker base topped with marshmallow and coated in dark chocolate.
Okay. That sounds great.
They are. They're good. I've had them. They're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they're the greatest cookie in the world. And then we cut to, I'm assuming, Tyler's party. I love the way Rob Reiner's not the greatest director with a camera, but I love what he does with the camera here, which is Sally is with some guy telling him the punchline of a joke.
So the guy says, read the card.
She clearly doesn't get it and then laughs. And then she leans away and the camera goes with her to Marie.
I'm going home. You'll never get a taxi.
And then back to the guy. It's a perfect shot for that moment.
Her fake laugh, too, throughout the whole thing is great. And his terrible stories are great.
And then Harry is walking, and we start to hear and see moments of their relationship, in particular, the beginning.
You realize, of course, that we can never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
And then we see them on the plane, and then we see them walking together, and we hear...
What if they don't want to have sex with you?
Doesn't matter, because the sex thing is already out there, so the friendship is ultimately doomed, and that is the end of the story.
And then we see them when they've made love. And I love the contrast between the image of them at the most intimate, which is when they made love,
right,
and the moment of their first saying goodbye to each other.
Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then.
Guess not.
It's too bad. Because you were the only person that I knew in New York.
When does Harry acknowledge that he is in love with Sally?
I think when he realizes the idea that he might lose her, which is her saying, that's why I think that moment is the final moment of the memories, is her saying, well, I guess we're never going to be friends again with each other and it's a shame because you're the only person I knew in New York. And I think he realizes, and listen, this is all up for perception, so some of you listening to us might agree with me, disagree with me, but I think there's a reason you can, you're as a director, Steve, you create a montage to lead to a realization.
Absolutely.
That final moment before in the montage is the one that's supposed to spark the realization. And I think because they have that last moment of her saying, well, it's a shame, I think Harry realizes he doesn't want to live his life without her. And her remembering that she's the one who was like, it's a shame that you don't want to be friends. She's always been fighting for the relationship more than he has. And I think in this moment, he realizes how much of an incredible woman she is and how much of a loss he would experience in his life to lose her. And I think what you've been saying throughout this whole episode, how much he does love her and didn't realize how much he loved her. And it's this moment, the fear of losing her forever, that sparks this moment for him to finally fight for her and run across New York and dive into that party to deliver his honest truth about her.
I think you're 100% right. I totally agree. And I think just in terms of the way I'm framing it in my headcanon is that for her, what she needs to do for him what she needs to do to protect herself after this incident is I have to take care of me.
Yes.
I cannot put myself in a position where this person can hurt me anymore.
Right.
And so I am looking at me. That's the evolution. She always put herself in positions with Joe and with other people that weren't all about her. And now she's like, no, I have to take care of myself. And I think for Harry, he has to expose himself. Hers is this protective thing that she's going I have to not put myself out there. And Harry has never really put himself out there, and he has to put himself out there.
Right.
They both have, and once they do that, and man, Harry's run across New York.
Yeah.
Among the most romantic things in any film ever.
And again, and I want to make this really, really clear. This song is not on the soundtrack, but the slow version of the older Frank Sinatra singing It Had to Be You. It had to be you. Is one of the greatest interpretations of that song ever. It is slow paced, it is honest, it is truthful, and it is a reflection of this timeless love. And I love that it's an older Sinatra that delivers this particular version of It Had to Be. Because if you hear the younger Sinatra singing it, it's much more happy and jovial and caught in the love of things. But this older Sinatra is the man who has been through the wars of love and is still in love with the woman that he committed to. And I think that's what's so great about his interpretation, because it mirrors what Harry is about to do, which is about to commit the rest of his life to this woman and have that kind of love that Sinatra is singing about in this version of It Had to Be You. It's great.
That's a great point. And I think part of it is that one of the things about When Harry Met Sally, it's not young love. It's not first love.
No.
It's not sweet, romantic, naive love.
Right.
This is mature love. And having that mature Sinatra is what's right for this.
It's true love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what's weird, there's even a ticking clock because we see Sally at the party and she's getting ready to go and she's trying to leave and Harry is walking and then he's walking fast and then he starts running, trying to catch a cab. He can't find a cab and now he's sprinting, which, by the way, he would be exhausted. This is a long run he's involved in, but that's how movies go. And it's right before midnight, which is what I mean by the ticking clock.
I'm going.
It's almost midnight.
Well, the thought of not kissing somebody is just...
I'll kiss you.
Dude, you're a good guy, and I know this was well-meaning, but this is not what Sally needed to hear right now. She is on her way out, and she sees him. And I think you can look at just the look on Meg Ryan's face and know that she loves him, you know?
It mirrors the moment. And I would imagine Cameron Crowe stole this moment for Jerry Maguire.
Oh, sure.
Right? When Maguire comes through that door and Renee's where the women are talking and complaining about men, and Zellweger looks up and sees him.
Yeah, that's it.
He's already won the day, right? And I think in this moment, the fact that Harry showed up and he's not even dressed up for the party, so I think reflects subconsciously, she knows that he has just had this realization and has run up to tell her. You know?
I mean, at this moment, you know the way you know about a good melon.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's funny too, because what is that story? The good melon story, I think, is he crossed the room at the party to come to talk to me.
Great point.
And that's what's happening right now. And what's interesting with Meg Ryan is that the first moment you see, oh, she's in love with Harry. Right. And then you see her put on the face.
Yes.
Like,
she must protect herself. Right.
To protect herself, yeah.
Yep.
And Harry walks up. This is what I mean by it's not that I don't feel that she needed him to atone, although she obviously did. He had fucked up and he needed to apologize. But this is the thing. He needs to expose himself. He needs to say his truth.
I've been doing a lot of thinking. And the thing is, I love you.
What?
I love you.
This is not a Harry she knows. He's putting it on the table.
How do you expect me to respond to this?
How about you love me too?
Because I think he is convinced that she loves him.
Yes.
I think he...
And now he's going to fight for them. He is going to fight for them, which is great.
Well, and I think that's why he felt suffocated. Because they made love. He felt love, you know?
Right.
So that's what he's been walking around with for the last month, trying to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
How about I'm leaving?
Doesn't what I said mean anything to you?
I'm sorry, Harry. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know you're feeling lonely, but you just can't show up here, tell me you love me, and expect that to make everything all right.
This is not intentional, but I love that it's even harder for him to cross that finish line. This is the last few reps before you fully achieve muscle failure. And you got to get there. And so she is not going to make it easy for him. And I think she's fair to say, you might be doing this because you're caught up in the emotional holidays, because we've seen the film show us that New Year's Eve is a thing they've talked about and had plans for in case they weren't with each other. So she needs to see how authentic he is. And she's not going to give in quite as easily yet.
It doesn't work this way.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know, but not this way.
Couple things about the end of this movie. Yeah. There are, you saw a bunch of them when Rob Reiner passed away, that people said, oh, he originally intended for this to be a sad ending until he met Michelle, and then he turned it into a happy ending, that Harry and Sally weren't going to get together until he met Michelle. That's not true. What is true is that the first couple of drafts did not have Harry and Sally get together. This is months and months, years probably before they actually went into production. But there were early drafts because Rob was very cynical and said, I don't think that this can work, so they're not going to get together. But he knew 3 drafts in that was the wrong choice and they have to get together. Because that's what the movie demands. I mean, this is the kind of movie you're in. But what he says, and what I do believe a little bit more, was that he never felt great about the ending because he was more cynical and he was depressed and he was, trying out dating that wasn't really working. And it wasn't until meeting Michelle on the set that he started to get a lot more romantic and felt better about the ending. He didn't change the ending because he met Michelle.
I think the universe, and however you want to do this, God, the universe, universal energy, waves, whatever it is you believe in, I think there are special movies, and I think this is why movies are important. There are special movies that come along and certain things happen to make sure those movies happen because the movies are meant for a bigger purpose. And I think this movie, here we are in 2026, Steve, almost 40 years later, and the movie still delivers. And the movie, with you and I as older people now, having been through the wars of our relationships, we can like savor this movie all over again because the movie is meant to be something bigger and to display and explain something to us. And I think the fact that Rob was having trouble with this ending, and it wasn't till he met Michelle that he was able to give in to the ending, which is what we see through his direction. This is a beautifully directed final, I think 10 minutes of the movie or 8 minutes of the movie. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And I wonder if the Rob who had not met Michelle could have directed these final moments as powerfully and as movingly as he directed them with the movie we see now. Yeah.
I think it's certainly in there. And let me tell you a little bit more about how this came about. So they did their rehearsals, and all of them, it sounds like, kind of felt like the scene was good, but it wasn't quite delivering. And then they went to shoot it, and they shot, and they're like, okay, well, we'll figure it out on the day. I'm sure, we'll do the camera and other stuff. And they shot it, and it was good, but it wasn't what they wanted. And so they all went back and started talking about it. And when I say they all, I'm assuming that Meg, Billy, Nora, Rob, and Andy are all hanging out. I don't know who else is there. And what they start talking about, and they shot some stuff, but they're like, well, what is it that Harry really needs to say? And what does Sally really need to hear? And so Nora is talking about what Sally needs to hear because she needs to feel loved in a way that she hasn't felt loved before. And it's like, what's going to be what it ended up with, which is that Harry had to show that he saw Sally.
Right.
And that he loved what he saw and that he'd been paying attention.
Yeah.
How about this way? I love that you get cold when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts.
Which is great because they cut to Meg Ryan and she has the perfect crinkle on her nose.
Yeah.
And then if that wasn't, those are like the little things, right? And then it's big stuff that he says now.
I love that after I spend a day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love that you are the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night.
Yeah, it's the truth. As someone who is in this kind of love now, I love waking up to my lady and I love going to bed to my lady. I don't want to talk to anybody else when I wake up, and I don't want to talk to anybody else before I go to bed. It's truly a gift. It's truly a blessing and a gift. It's amazing.
See, and I just don't want to talk to anybody.
You talk to yourself. That's your self-love. That's for sure. Yeah.
And he says, and I love rhythmically, by the way, just in terms of the music of the language, this works so well.
And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
It's amazing.
And Billy delivers it so well. I mean, the acting here is so good. And this is a Harry we've never seen, by the way. We have spent an hour and 30 minutes or 35 minutes with Harry by this point. So we have to see something new. We have to see a Harry we've never seen before. And he delivers it. And the way even the pacing of the way he's delivering the lines is a way we've never seen Harry deliver lines throughout the whole movie. It's so authentic and real. And she's
exactly
responding to all of it so well. Yeah.
Well, and what did we say about Sally is, why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't someone want to marry me?
Right.
Well, here's someone who said it.
Yes, who sees you, as you said, Nora said, she has to see Sally. He sees Sally.
Yeah.
And that's what she's been waiting to hear from somebody. I love that when he's done with the speech, we cut to her and she is in love with him for a second. And then she immediately goes back to the protective thing. And then she can't deny it any longer and kisses. It's great acting.
You see? That is just like you, Harry. You say things like that and you make it impossible for me to hate you. And I hate you, Harry. I really hate you.
And then we get the kiss. It's funny, too, because we were just a year ago at the New Year's, we're there at the countdown, and we got to the kiss moment, and it was awkward and uncomfortable. And now here we are again, except it's not awkward and uncomfortable. It's incredibly romantic. And then again, I can so relate to Terry because he's gone a long time without making a joke. How long do you expect us to go without making a joke?
What does this song mean? My whole life, I don't know what this song means. I mean, should old acquaintance be forgot? Does that mean that we should forget old acquaintances? It doesn't mean that if we happen to forget them, we should remember them, which is not possible because we already forgot them.
And she's looking at him lovingly now as he says this stuff because they've now really accepted what they feel for each other and accepted each other.
Yep.
He has to see her, but she also has to see him. And so in this moment, she is just rolling with what he says instead of judging him for what he's saying, which I think is great.
Well, and what was his whole speech about? His speech was, I see all the crazy things about you.
Yeah.
And I love them.
Yep.
Like, I really think a key to relationships are you have to love each other's bullshit.
Yep. 100%.
Is that if you're not if you don't like someone making jokes in awkward or really terrible situations, you shouldn't be in a relationship with me. Yeah. That would be a bad choice on your part.
Well, maybe it just means that we should remember that we forgot them or something. Anyway, it's about old friends.
And then what's so great is we hear VO, and this is the thing where I go like, didn't expect this to be where the movie was going to end. And it's so obvious that this is where it has to end.
The first time we met, we hated each other.
No, you didn't hate me. I hated you. The second time we met, you didn't even remember me.
I did too. I remembered you. The third time we met, we became friends.
We were friends for a long time.
And then we weren't.
And you cut to them, and they're on the couch. By the way, apparently, unlike the other ones, which are very tightly written by Nora Ephron, this was a lot of improv.
Oh, wow.
So they did a bunch of improv because they've obviously really built this relationship.
Right,
and I think they did shoot this at the very end of the movie. And so a lot of this was stuff that they improv'd.
3 months later, we got married.
Yeah, it only took 3 months.
12 years and 3 months.
And then we get into the wedding and the description of the coconut cake.
It was great. We had this enormous coconut cake.
Huge coconut cake with the tears, and there was this very rich chocolate sauce on the side.
Right, because not everybody likes it on the cake because it makes it very soggy.
Particularly the coconut soaks up a lot of that stuff, so it's important to keep it on the side.
Right.
I love that we end on this very, very Sally kind of moment.
Yeah.
And that he loves the Sally moment.
Yes.
And of course, we're back with It Had to Be You, and the credits roll because this is the end of When Harry Met Sally. And, we've been talking about this era, just over the summer, we talked about Jaws, which was the first movie to have one of these really, really big, wide releases. And that's how these blockbusters were happening. Well, that's not how they released When Harry Met Sally. They did a narrow release. So they only put it in 41 theaters, and it grossed over $1 million just in 41 theaters, which is the second highest opening weekend for a small release like that since Star Wars, which also opened up small. I mean, that's how big a hit this ends up becoming. And it's funny because, this is coming out. It's coming out right around the time of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, of the Tim Burton Batman movie, and Billy Crystal's like, we're going to get killed.
Right.
And needless to say, did not get killed, ended up making $193 million worldwide.
What an amazing success for a film like this, right? And clearly, people talk about counter-programming all the time. Oh, we're going to put this film up against this kind of stuff. And, there is a value in that. If you create a really good film and it happens to catch fire and is a counter-programming to all this other blockbuster stuff as you laid out that's going on there, then you really can achieve an incredible amount of success. I look at Housemaid, that just came out with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. A lot of people were thinking it'd be a modest hit, $300 million. And that's at a time when blockbusters are coming out, usually in December. So, if you hit that thing right, you can actually come out on top. And certainly When Harry Met Sally did, and still coming out on top.
One of the crazy things as I was doing research was, at least at its initial release, it got kind of a mixed critical response.
Oh,
there are people who found it hollow. There are people that found it shallow. There are people, and I'm just like, I don't know what. It's always interesting. Like there's certain movies where maybe you needed a little time to realize just how damn good this movie is. It only got one Oscar nomination, which was for screenplay, which it lost to Dead Poets Society. And this is this is 1990, so this is the year of Do the Right Thing and Driving Miss Daisy. And so it's actually, to me, there's no question, the greatest film and most important film that year is, without question, Do the Right Thing.
Agreed.
But I actually think when I was looking at some of these other nominations, man, I wish that When Harry Met Sally was in this mix a little more. So Best Actor was Tom Cruise. It was Kenneth Branagh, Morgan Freeman for Driving Miss Daisy, Robin Williams for Dead Poets Society, and Daniel Day-Lewis is the winner for My Left Foot, which is obviously it's a great performance, and I'm not saying that Billy Crystal should take that away. Best Actress goes to Jessica Tandy, and she was up against Isabel Allende, Camille Claudel, Pauline Collins, and Shirley Valentine, and Jessica Lange. And I think Meg Ryan should 100% have been nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think you can move Pauline Collins out from Shirley Valentine. I don't even remember Music Box with Jessica Lange. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer being in there for Fabulous Baker Boys is
She's great in it.
Yeah, she's great in it. So, yeah, I would have absolutely... I mean, hell, I'd have put her over Jessica Tandy. No offense. Yep. Yeah, I thought Tandy was good, but not the winner. Yeah,
Meg Ryan is so good in this movie. Yeah. Directing went to Oliver Stone for Born on the 4th of July, which is a movie that is a powerful film. But When Harry Met Sally is beloved. And this was up against Woody Allen for Crimes and Misdemeanors, Peter Weir for Dead Poets Society, Branagh for Henry V, and Jim Sheridan who directed My Left Foot. And again, I put Rob Reiner on that list.
Who would you take off? Maybe Jim Sheridan? Maybe.
Yeah.
Or
probably
maybe Peter Weir for Dead Poets. I mean, I think Dead Poets is a good movie, but I think it rode the wave of the Robin Williams popularity and the way it affected people because of that powerful ending. But I would definitely put When Harry Met Sally over Dead Poets, over My Left Foot, even possibly over Born on the 4th of July. And I know some people might be yelling right now, but I don't think that's Oliver Stone's best film, nor do I think that's Tom Cruise's best performance. That is Tom Cruise just walking out there into the drama world, but he's not 100% there. He's not there till Magnolia. He's not there till Collateral. This is kind of his first foray. This is not DiCaprio in Aviator. He's still figuring out how to be this massive dramatic star. And I think Born on the 4th of July is certainly a good film, but I don't think it's a great one. And I think When Harry Met Sally resonates much more than Born on the 4th of July, in my opinion, and is consistently still better.
You know, we've talked a lot about the movies that didn't quite hit when they initially came out. That's not really true of When Harry Met Sally. It is certainly true of things like The Princess Bride or Spinal Tap. It's certainly true of Citizen Kane and a whole bunch of other movies we talked about. Right. I think there's another category that we haven't really talked about, which is the movie that feels really powerful when it comes out, but doesn't actually have the hold on you over the decades.
Oh, yeah.
We're not really talking about Born on the 4th of July. It was very powerful when I saw it in the theater the first time.
Right.
It really, really wrecked me. But we're not really talking about it now. And When Harry Met Sally, we're going to be talking about forever.
Yeah. And of course, this is all factored in, well, it's all with the understanding that Do the Right Thing arguably belongs in the Best Picture, Best Director, probably Best Supporting Actor role there. You could argue with anybody you want to pick out of there for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's the understanding there. And of course, a screenplay as well. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing when you look at When Harry Met Sally. It's funny. You're right, Steve. There are just films that resonate and you don't know they're going to resonate all these years later. And there are films that initially are bangers. And then you get a little bit of time past them. And you're like, yeah, they're not as strong as I remember them being. I mean, we're not even mentioning Cinema Paradiso, which is arguably one of the greatest films ever made and certainly belongs in the Best Director, Best Picture category and only was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, which is a fucking crime in my opinion. So yeah, I would totally redo this Oscars. If we did a whole live show redoing these Oscars, I would redo 1989 in a heartbeat, dude. In a heartbeat.
It's actually, well, you know, as I think we mentioned, if not, we should mention right here, we are having our second annual Cine-Files Awards on March 14th, the day before this year's Oscars. And it just went, there's nothing saying we actually can't do this, that we can't pick a year and redo the Academy Awards with all of our Cine-Files voting and see what the right, and one thing I would definitely say is that we can use, because we use whatever fucking rules we want, is that we use today's rules where you're not limited to 5 Best Picture nominees. That we can, because if there had been 9 or 10 Best Picture options, When Harry Met Sally and Do the Right Thing would be on this list. There's just no question about it.
Yeah, probably. Maybe even Cinema Paradiso for sure.
And absolutely Cinema Paradiso, 100%. We have another question from our patrons. This comes from Matt Correa, who asks, and this is what we've been waiting for this whole time: what is your take on the central question at the beginning of the film? Can men and women be friends without the sex part getting in the way? And then he asks, does the film answer the question? The final act shows sex complicating their friendship and them ultimately falling in love, which seems to answer no. Do you think the film ultimately undermines the idea of men and women being platonic friends in real life? And what impact do you think this had on the culture of the late 80s and early 90s?
Whew. Wow.
Big question, right?
Massive question. So I would say this, from my own personal experience, yes, I think men and women can be friends, and I think it's an essential part of life. If you're a man, to have a female friend, and if you're a female, to have a woman friend, or however you identify, to have friends who identify in different ways, because it gives you a different perspective in life, a different perspective on how things are going about in life. And I think it's always important to hear from a number of perspectives. So I do think it's essential. I do think it is possible, even with people you're attracted to. You can have friendship there and respect the boundaries of that friendship. Now, when it comes to this particular thing, I think what's amazing about the film is that it turns the question on its head and doesn't answer it one way or another, because what it essentially tells you is the greatest relationships are built from friendship, and a genuine friendship, a genuine like and understanding, and seeing each other. As you pointed out so well, Steve, about Sally, she was desperate for someone to see her for who she is, and by seeing her, accepting her, and loving those things about her. And I think Harry becoming the friend to her first, and then getting into the relationship, because the attraction has always been there since the beginning. Even their first car ride, certainly Harry had a bit more of attraction for Sally, and then later it was reciprocated. But certainly I think the greatest relationships to me come from the greatest friendships. And so to me, that seems to be the answer to that question. They're answering it by not answering it, which I think is smart.
I think that's so right. And you help me clarify my ideas about this, which is that I think when people talk about this question, they're focusing a lot on the sex part, and they're not focusing on the friend part. That I think that, because that's what this movie is actually about, a friendship. It is so much more, and it is about a friendship that exists at the heart of a romantic relationship. It is not a romantic relationship that builds a friendship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I think that the place, because when I first saw this, and frankly, I think it had to do with my youth and testosterone level, what Harry said at the beginning of the movie of the sex part's always going to get in the way, I was like, yeah, and I'm older, and I think it's the in the way part, which is where Harry is incorrect at the beginning. I think in general, particularly when you're younger, if you are heterosexual and with a person of the opposite sex, I think thoughts are going to come into people's minds. There could be stuff, but it's the determination that will get in the way, that it will ruin the friendship. That's where I reject the premise. Is like, and I agree with you. I think your point, and one of the things that I think really does happen so much more after this movie, I have all sorts of women friends, and you have women friends, and that's made you not only just a better, more understanding person. I don't mean you, I mean all of us, more understanding people, but also more capable of having a healthy relationship because of these friendships. And the other thing I think about this is like, it's like my feelings about the best episodes of Star Trek, is the best episodes of Star Trek do pose moral questions, but they don't actually always answer them because there isn't an answer. The point is that we should be thinking about this. This movie is a deliberation on this idea of male-female friendship and sexual attraction, and we've been all over the place. And I don't think the movie has to make a conclusion because these two people end up in love. That's just what happens to Harry and Sally.
Right.
Yep. So we've reached the time where we have to give our final thoughts.
There's more to say? Okay.
Well, that's it's funny because that's kind of what I was going to say. I feel like I've given my thoughts for the most part. I think this is as damn close to a perfect movie as you can possibly get. The script is amazing. The way it came about directly affects the collaboration, the exploration of the ideas between Rob and Nora and everybody else on the set. That's where the movie comes from. It is so much fun. It's every shot, every moment, every bit of performance, every music choice is contributing to the whole. And it's one of those movies that I could, even after spending all this time with you, researching it, studying it, I can still go watch it today and have a great time.
I agree with you 100%. And, this is one of those films that I think you mentioned earlier. It's one of those films that it has its own magic. And the magic is what keeps us coming back. And to me, I look at the film the way Harry looks at Sally. I look at the film as I like that when I watch this film, I can still smell this film on my clothes. I can still, this film is like one of those films that when I remember it, it's a film I want to talk about when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night. It's just incredible in the way it holds on still all these years later. And I think what this film gets inside, if it works for you, you'll never let go of this film because there's just so much joy and so much knowledge to be acquired from this movie, delivered in a humorous package, delivered in an honest package, in a real package. And it can go along with you. If you watch it at a young enough age, you can go along with this film. And as you age and get older, you'll revisit this film and you'll start to see completely different perspectives from Harry's point of view, from Sally's point of view, and understand them even better as you get older, looking back on them. And I think that's one of the gifts of this movie for real. And the soundtrack, I think, is just incredible to go back to. Such comfort food. This is one of those ones that wraps around you like a blanket. If it works for you, it just brings you comfort when you're down, when you're sad, when you're happy. You can watch it anytime and you just kind of disappear into the world of the film. And of course, the number one reason is Rob Reiner and Nora Ephron's script. So as you highlighted, Steve, they're just so perfectly in tandem together and catching two of these actors perfectly in their prime, delivering two of the greatest performances of their careers.
Well, that's what we think of When Harry Met Sally. Of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear your response to the final question of can men and women still be friends, or does the sex part get in the way? You could visit us on Facebook. Just do a search for the Cine-Files. It's Cine_Files on X, the Cine-Files podcast on Instagram. If you haven't subscribed to the show, it is great for us if you can subscribe. All of the major platforms have us, including Spotify and Apple, and of course, YouTube. We love your comments and reviews, both on Spotify, Apple, comments on YouTube. We love seeing them there and interacting with you. And if you want to support the show or ask a question like we've heard in the course of these episodes, you can do it on patreon.com/thecine-files, as well as Apple Podcasts. And if you want to reach me, it's SR Morris on Twitter and SR Morris1 on Instagram. John, how about you?
Oh, you can always reach me at The Rocha Says on all social media. Would appreciate you all hanging out there and subscribing to all my social media, and also subscribing to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, where all my reactions, reviews, shows like the Hot Mic, the Geek Buddies, and the Jedi Way, and now Spill the Tequila are all there on my channel. And The Truth, of course, whenever I get in the mood to do it.
And that's it for this week. We're going to continue our season of Rob Reiner with A Few Good Men. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, on March 14th, the Saturday, day before the Oscars, we are having the second annual Cine-Files Academy Award, where you get to vote for the winners.